Your phone is still glowing. You've switched between Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Netflix so many times that you can't even remember what you were looking for. Nothing terrible happened today. Nothing amazing happened either. But as you stare at the ceiling, a strange feeling starts creeping in. A feeling that's hard to explain. A feeling that sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, because from the outside, your life looks fine, maybe even good, yet somehow you feel empty. Not sad, not depressed, not broken, just empty. And that's what makes it so confusing. Because if your life is good, why doesn't it feel good? Maybe you've asked yourself this before. You have people who care about you. You have goals. You have plans. You have things to look forward to. But somewhere between waking up, working, scrolling, eating, sleeping, and repeating, life started feeling strangely flat, almost like you're watching your own life instead of actually living it. And the weirdest part? Nobody talks about it. People talk about anxiety, they talk about depression, they talk about burnout. But emptiness feels different. It's quieter, more subtle, like something important disappeared without making a sound. So what exactly is happening? Most people assume emptiness means something is missing. More money, more success, more friends, more purpose, more excitement. And that assumption feels logical. After all, when you feel bad, the natural response is to look for something to add. But what if that's the trap? Think about the last thing you desperately wanted: a relationship, a promotion, a new car, a bigger apartment, a degree, a milestone. At some point, your brain convinced you that getting that thing would finally make everything click. And for a while, it did. The excitement was real. The satisfaction was real. But then something happened. The feeling faded. The new normal arrived. And suddenly, you were searching for the next thing again. Why? Because your brain is built to adapt. What once felt extraordinary eventually feels ordinary. The dream becomes the routine. The reward becomes the baseline. And before you realize it, you're chasing another finish line, then another, then another. Not because you're greedy, not because you're ungrateful, because that's what human brains do. But here's where things get dangerous. Many people spend their entire lives chasing the next thing without ever asking a much more important question. What if the problem isn't what you're missing? What if the problem is what you've stopped noticing? Look around. The average person rarely experiences silence anymore. The moment boredom appears, we reach for a screen. The moment discomfort appears, we distract ourselves. The moment loneliness appears, we scroll. The moment uncertainty appears, we consume more content. Modern life has given us an escape route from almost every uncomfortable emotion. And at first that sounds like a gift. But over time, it creates a hidden problem. You become incredibly good at avoiding yourself. Think about that. You know what everyone else is doing. You know what's trending. You know what's happening in the world. But when was the last time you sat alone with your thoughts for an hour? No music, no videos, no notifications, just you. For many people, that sounds terrifying. And that's exactly the point, because emptiness often appears when you become disconnected from your own inner life. Not disconnected from the internet, not disconnected from society, disconnected from yourself. You know how to stay busy, but you don't know how you feel. You know what you're supposed to want, but you don't know what actually matters to you anymore. And when that gap gets large enough, emptiness moves in. But there's an even deeper layer to this. Sometimes emptiness isn't about the present. Sometimes it's about the person you left behind, the version of yourself. Maybe you became the responsible one, the strong one, the successful one, the people pleaser, the perfectionist, the helper, the achiever, the person who never causes problems. And over time, you became so focused on performing your role that you stopped listening to yourself, your needs, your emotions, your curiosity, your dreams. Little by little, you traded authenticity for approval, and it worked. People liked you, respected you, but somewhere along the way, you lost contact with the person underneath. And that loss doesn't always show up as sadness. Sometimes it shows up as emptiness. Here's the twist most people never hear. Emptiness is not always the problem. Sometimes emptiness is the signal. It's your mind's way of saying something important needs attention. But instead of listening, most people panic. They assume something is wrong with them, so they do what they've always done. More work, more goals, more entertainment, more distractions, more noise, anything to avoid the feeling. But the harder you run from emptiness, the stronger it becomes. Because emptiness isn't asking to be escaped, it's asking to be understood. And the people who eventually overcome it don't do so by finding the perfect job, or the perfect relationship, or the perfect lifestyle. They overcome it by becoming curious. They stop asking, how do I get rid of this feeling? And start asking, what is this feeling trying to tell me? That's when everything begins to change. Because beneath emptiness is often something you've been avoiding. A truth, a desire, a grief, a fear, a neglected part of yourself that's been waiting years to be heard. And the moment you finally listen, the emptiness starts losing its power. Not overnight, not instantly, but gradually. Because human beings don't just need comfort, they need meaning, they need connection, they need growth, they need purpose. Most importantly, they need a relationship with themselves. And that's why some people have everything and still feel empty, while others have very little and feel deeply alive. The difference isn't what they own, it's what they're connected to. So if you've been feeling empty lately, don't immediately try to fill the void. Sit with it, listen to it, get curious about it. Because maybe the emptiness isn't proof that something is missing from your life. Maybe it's proof that you've been missing from your own life. And maybe the person you've been searching for all this time is the person you left behind years ago.